This week's Smart Challenge is a TV review of The Peacemaker. So, for those of you who don't know the show, it's on HBO Max. And Peacemaker is a spin-off TV series from the movie Suicide Squad. The second Suicide Squad movie, not the first one. And it has to do with one of the characters from the Suicide Squad, which is Peacemaker, played by John Cena. And sorry if I mispronounced the last name. And the funny part is I don't really like him as an actor, but I do definitely think he found his niche in not only in this TV series, but also in this, I think it's Amazon Prime movie called Vacation Friends.
Dude, that is the only reason I even watch the show, honestly. Because I'm like, this guy now. And then after watching that, I'm like, maybe.
He plays like the really like dumb meathead muscle bound guy really well, and Peacemaker is it's the TV series is way better than his character in the movie Suicide Squad.
It's a different character, I feel.
I think so too. So I think part of this too has to go with the fact that the director of this show, of this TV series, is James Gunn.
Yes.
And James Gunn, although he's had some like shady accusations against him, but he did a really great job with stuff like the Guardians of the Galaxy, Suicide Squad, and Slither. He's directed some other shows, but I don't know those ones as well. But he has like in Guardians of the Galaxy and in this TV series, I think it really kind of displays his sense of humor, and it's pretty funny.
A little dark, but definitely funny.
Yeah. So Peacemaker, he's after killing. So just kind of line this series up here. Basically, Peacemaker is obviously he's been in jail in that prison there. That what's her name? The black lady that's in the other movies, Suicide Squad and stuff. I had it and I forgot it. Anyways, Amanda Waller.
There you go, Waller.
So Waller is in charge of Task Force X or something like that. And so she allows Peacemaker to kind of go out into this. He's in the hospital from after fighting the big starfish from Suicide Squad. And he doesn't realize that he's free and everything like that. So it was kind of funny because the first episode, he's like talking to the like janitor or whatever, who actually like smoked some pot with him. And he's like, is there anyone around? And he like walks out of the hospital thinking he's like totally like scot-free and everyone forgot about him or whatnot. Any case.
Pot makes people do that.
It kind of shows like a new aspect of his character. I don't know really. I had no like real design plan of where to go with this. So do you have a thought here?
Here's what I will say. Let me backtrack just a hair.
Okay, please do. Pick up my trash here, please.
No, you're good. You kind of nailed it, honestly. You talked about Suicide Squad, the first Suicide Squad, which was, I believe, a great movie. The second Suicide Squad, I struggled a little bit with because the characters didn't have the same impact in that movie, and his was one of them, Peacemakers. So that was my hesitation, if you will, to see the Peacemaker TV series on HBO Max. Is like, man, I didn't like the movie, let alone his character. How is this going to pan out? But we talk about he goes to prison and then 10 years later he's out, so to speak, and you get to learn a little bit more of his backstory, and then you get to experience some of his adventures. And what I have to say, and I love to say this and I hate to say this, is, and I'm not saying all men, I'm not even going to say most men, but men want most of his experiences, whether or not they'll admit it or ever put forth an effort to go and have them. And they're not good experiences. Like, they start out great, but they end up in a tragic series of events, or a series of tragic events. And at the end, he is the victor, though. And that's what men want. Men want an experience and then to win. And the win can come in many different ways. Oh, it felt great, or whatever that may be. And if you guys have seen the show and you're thinking about the first couple episodes, you know it felt great. So with that, it's real. But I will never forget, and I believe it's episode 1, where he goes into a bar after he's met his new team, and he's got I actually think Jennifer Holland's character, Amelia Harcourt, is my favorite in the show. But he meets her and he's like, oh, hey, what are the chances we met at the same bar? And she's like, I've been watching you follow me for like 12 blocks. And he's like, well, and she's like, if I wanted to have a drink with someone, I wouldn't have fucking come here. Get the fuck away from me. And he's like, okay, well, I just thought you might be interested. And she's like, interested in what? And he's like, well, I haven't had sex in like 10 years. He's like, and then he corrects himself, well, with a woman. And again, no man wants that experience. Well, not every man wants that experience. No. But at the same time, he survived it. And that's the experience people want. So I thought it was a great start. And then to find out who his father is, played by Robert Patrick, dynamite again. Like, no wonder this guy is so messed up. And then, dude, it is also funny, though. It's ironic through and through each and every episode. One episode, he's introducing his eagle to his team, and they're like, who's that? And he's like, that's Eagly. And they're like, are you kidding me? And then they all start making fun of, did you call your dog Doggly and your cat Cattley? And they use other examples, but he ultimately charges back at each and every one of them with a comment in defense, and then they all get like butthurt. And it's interesting because I think that's real. When people can team up against a person or a force, everything's good. But the second that force overpowers them with an edge, a wall, a strength that they don't understand or comprehend, it becomes ugly. And I loved that because I think that's real in life. I think there were a lot of real life lessons that James Gunn puts into these shows.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So his team, right? I guess we should kind of talk about this too. So his team is consisted of Amanda Waller's daughter, which is...
We should, by the way, you're right, fix this so that people don't think I was just taking down my pants in the bathroom.
Leota Abibayo or something like that. I forget it.
That's it. Nailed it.
And then we have Vigilante.
Okay, here we go. This is the guy I was making fun
of. He's either known as Vigilante when he's in his costume, otherwise he's known as Adrian. You already talked about Harcourt. And then we have Economos. Okay, so Economos, right? Economos is like the super like techie nerd guy.
Total nerd.
Total beta type guy who you would see hanging out in a mom's basement, overweight, glasses, all that type of stuff. And and you would not expect him to be like some special ops guy unless he's doing like tech work. But he was also in the second Suicide Squad movie, one of the people who stood up against Amanda Waller when Task Force X wanted to go stop the walking starfish. Same with Harcourt, Amelia Harcourt. Amelia Harcourt is also actually in Black Adam as well. That's what we learned. And she's like a total badass chick, kicks ass. Although once you get past her like hard shell, she's like a total softie.
She's brains and brawn.
Yeah. Then we have Adrian, who's as Vigilante. He is, I guess you could say, probably either a close friend or maybe best friends with Peacemaker, right?
Yeah.
But Peacemaker will never acknowledge that he is his best friend.
Or his sidekick.
He's
like the non-immortal version of Deadpool as far as comedy is concerned.
Yeah, exactly. The guy like does like, and he has in his like normal everyday life, he's a busboy at a restaurant who seems like he might be like not fully there. I'm not gonna say he's mentally challenged, but he might be mentally challenged. But he definitely likes to blow up shit and shoot stuff, and he has like a really great sense of humor about killing things. Like there's like
He's super positive, and what I don't like about everything you're saying is, I'm like, dude, is this me? Like everything's gonna be fine. We just flew off a cow.
So, but I really do like Vigilante's like character. Definitely not my favorite character, but I do like his character a lot. And he does some like really dumb things. But and then there's also the daughter, right? Amanda Waller's daughter, who I'm not going to try to say the last name again. She's probably my least favorite character. Who I get. It's kind of weird at the end though, because Peacemaker says that's his new BFF outside of Eagly.
Yeah, you can't leave out Eagly.
And then, you know, we also have to give a shout out to the dad, right? Which is, you said Robert
Patrick.
Patrick.
Yes.
He plays
Augie Smith.
He plays Augie Smith, and he plays a really good white trash type of white supremacist type of guy, and his character is known as the White Dragon.
Yeah, he's like the Aryan Nation leader.
Right? Totally opposite of like
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker.
But is it? So here's like another little sidestep, which is,
oh, you're that racist superhero.
yeah, everyone thinks Peacemaker's racist, and I'm like, but is he? Let's just stop here, because he says, you know, some things after you find out this is his
upbringing or what?
This is his MO. This is his like code. Here is Peacemaker's code. Peacemaker is a man who fights for peace at any cost, no matter how many people he has to kill to get it. And it's just like, all right. And they're like, well, then why do you kill more black people than white people? He's like, well, more black people were stealing stuff. And they're like, that's racist. He's like, that's what I saw. And it's just this tragic series of events where you can literally flip a coin or play on the roulette table, as I have in Vegas, and lose by betting on red 13 times in a row, because after the 12th time it went black, it goes green.
It is funny though, because I guess if you do start looking at statistics, right, there's one group that's probably like has higher crime rates than another group.
Well, particularly depending on where you live. If 99% of the population is one ethnicity and 1% of the population is another, no matter how many of the 1% do crimes, the 99% is going to have more crimes.
So it's kind of funny because, like, to him, like he's like a trailer trash guy because he lives in a trailer, and you know, he's just, you know, to him, he's thinking like he's just stopping crime and he's killing whoever. And he explains that his creed or whatever his motto is to somebody, and the guy's like, "Oh, so you're that racist superhero?" And he's like, "No."
I think the tragedy is that's where a lot of people go with that, and it has nothing to do with racism, tragically, because he is not his father, even though there are certain things that definitely do apply to his father. But let's not give Robert Patrick's character, Augie Smith, some credit. This guy is not just a villain or a super racist. He is like a evil genius. He's got his own meta closet where it opens up and there is just a football field arena of weapons and tools and armor and cool stuff.
Talking about weapons and armor and stuff like that, his helmets.
Oh my goodness.
So Peacemaker has like a bunch of different helmets that his dad created. One of the helmets, it was like gave people disease. Was it syphilis or something like that?
Yeah, like gonorrhea, I think.
Okay. Like, who's gonna make that?
Yeah, that's where this is evil genius. Like, he's like, let's face it, there are a lot of political back and sidelines in this, and who else gave a group of individuals a STD as a vaccine?
Right.
So
So there, I mean, if you're looking for something that's not very politically correct, this is a good TV series to watch. It's not all that PC. And then here, like one of my favorite helmets has to be. This is from episode 1 too.
Dude,
is the Sonic Boom helmet.
the Sonic Boom.
So if you ever see, so he gets out of jail. He goes to the bar like Jesse talks about, right? And also, since he doesn't hook up with Harcourt, he does find another woman there who happens to be controlled by an alien. We find this out later. And when the alien woman, after he's done doing his thing with her or it or whatever, starts attacking him.
Does this feel good?
Then it starts attacking him, and he uses the Sonic Boom. So he just got done, like they just got done doing their whole romance thing. She's in her undies, he's in his undies, and he's like, he basically like runs or jumps out of the apartment like 3 floors
She's
up.
kicking his ass left and right.
She's like tossing him through windows and stuff. Like she's bare chested in panties or whatever, like tossing him through windows.
And she was like 85 pounds.
Yeah. So for him to get away from her, he jumps out the window from a 3-story building and lands on the ground. And he like at the very beginning, he like broke his shoulder or clavicle or whatever. So they told him like he has to like stay off of it and stuff, and not do anything with it. And what does he do? He jumps out of the window, lands on it, gets to his car, and then she's chasing him. And as she's jumping at him to go like hit him or something, he does the whole Sonic Boom and basically just like evaporates her. Like she's like little body parts all over the place, destroys the parking lot, all the cars in it and everything. It's a pretty hilarious scene.
It's hilarious because as the Sonic Boom hits her, she basically becomes skin, but then the skin becomes chunks of skin. And later on in episode 2, the detectives are there searching the site, and there's some stupid police officer who's like, "What the hell was this? A piece of jerky or something?" And the detective's like, "I think that's a face." And she was right, by the
way. All right. So, what's your favorite vigilante scene?
Man, this is interesting. This is a tough one, actually, because I really love the inappropriate scenes. Ooh, you go first. I'm going to need to think about this for a second. I should have thought about that.
I think one of my favorite scenes with Vigilante is he gets manipulated by Waller's daughter at the prison, and so he's gonna go. So he basically goes and he like tosses a trash can into like the police station's window, breaks the window, so that way he could get into the jailhouse to kill Augie Smith, which is Peacemaker's dad. And so the way he starts off the whole like fight, I think is pretty hilarious. But I'm not going to quote any of the things that he said there because it's probably not the best thing to quote because it's totally inappropriate. So that'd be one of my favorites there. And then my other favorite is when he's complaining, like he's talking about like right before they go into this like, I guess milk factory or whatever. He's talking about, he pulls out a chainsaw and starts revving it up. He's like, "Yeah, man, I'm gonna kill somebody with this chainsaw." And then Harcourt's like, "No, you can't do that. You gotta put that down." And then at the end of that episode, he's like, "Man, how come this other guy got to kill somebody with the chainsaw and I didn't?" I think that's like kind of like that whole kind of like storyline right there is like one of my favorites of his.
This is tragically simple for my favorite scene, because it's actually the final scene of the series for episode or season 1. And that is when he's sitting there at his ghetto ass trailer and he's hanging out with Eagly and he's just enjoying a simple life. And I think that's what...
Wait, for Vigilante?
For John Cena.
Oh yeah, I was asking like what your favorite scene was for Vigilante.
Oh, for Vigilante? Oh, sorry. I thought you were saying for Peacemaker. Oh, Vigilante. Dude, totally my favorite scene for Vigilante is literally the one in the bathroom where he's like got his pants down. And I'm just, because I don't know who doesn't think this. Like, are you kidding me? He drops his pants to the floor. He's basically naked using the urinal. And they're all like, what the hell is this? He's like, I can't pee with any, I can't go to the bathroom without anything touching my butt. And I mean, I love that scene. The other scene I love is when he's really going to town. They're driving in the back of that van, truck, whatever you want to call it. And they're just going back and forth. But Vigilante, again, like sometimes I'm like, I deal with the worst situations way too positively. And so watching the show, I'm like, dude, am I Vigilante? Am I the slow guy in the back of the truck who's like, yeah, I just got shot. Look, everything's fine. No, everything's not fine from the outside, Jesse.
The pinky toe is the most important toe.
Dude, and it really is. Everyone always talks shit about that, but the pinky toe is the most important. You used to go half your pinky toe. Guess what that's worth in an insurance lawsuit? A lot. More than the whole big toe. I'd give up a big toe over a pinky toe any day.
All right. Then we'll do our favorite two scenes if you want to do two scenes, but at least one favorite scene. My favorite scene happens to be when Economos, this guy has like the total super knack. He's like I said, he's like total nerd. Doesn't look like he belongs on any super agent teams or anything like that. But yet he seems to do the most killing.
He really does. He is there when he's needed, and I'm glad you brought that up because it plays into my second favorite scene.
So my first favorite scene is when he actually like pops out of nowhere with the chainsaw and chops up this like monkey, like because like this gorilla,
like a silverback gorilla,
like not only a silverback gorilla, but like a super, because it's right. Like taken over by the alien. So it's like a super silverback gorilla who's like beating the crap out of the whole team. And then Economos just pops out of nowhere and has the chainsaw. Like you see, like the chainsaw poke through the abdomen of this gorilla with blood splurting out all over the place. And then that's number one. And then my second favorite is when there's the human torpedo helmet. And Waller's daughter is wearing the human torpedo helmet, and they end up doing the human torpedo with her twice. The second time she goes into like what's called the cow or whatever, which would be disgusting and awful. But that's not like my favorite part though, because she goes to save John Cena and she says human torpedo and she like misses everybody and slams right into the rock wall. It basically knocks herself out. I don't know why, but I thought that scene was hilarious.
I'm not going after like my favorite scenes being the most hilarious. My second, and I already touched base on my first one, being that John Cena is sitting there with Eagly at the end and just enjoying life. I think that's what any like actual real man wants in life, is to have those peaceful times. Because life, whether you're a teacher or you work anywhere, or especially if you're a public servant, life is a battle. And he was having this moment of peace. My second favorite, and this is actually really close to my first favorite. You touched base on this in episode 1 after he hooks up with the alien-infested chick in the bar. And he gets into trouble, and all of a sudden they find out all of the police, the special forces are converging on this hotel or apartment or whatever he's staying in. You know who it is that is called in that ultimately saves his butt? It is Emilia Harcourt. And there's something about that scene where of the whole series, if there was one person I could be, that would be the one that was there that had my partner's back. Where, okay, this guy's been in prison for 10 years. He's a moron. He hooked up with some crazy chick in a bar. I'm getting called because I need to go save his ass. And she is the one who does that. And she leads them all. She's not always the one who makes the killer blow. You got the computer nerd for that. But she is the one who always groups them together and takes the immediate first action. She doesn't hesitate. There's no freezing. And there's something very respectable about that character strength to me.
The one character I think we forgot to talk about or mention at all is the Green Ninja guy.
Oh my God. That guy was ultimately he's just irritating because he's such a badass. Right? He really is. And you just want him to go away, but he won't. He just keeps coming back.
He's so annoying.
He is. They drug him to the nth degree, and somehow he gets over the drugs. He's like, I'm free now. I'm going to kick some butt.
And he's always eating potato chips.
That part I liked.
The part I like with him is how he beats up the two guys that were punks. So as he's standing outside the convenience store.
Oh yeah.
And the convenience store guy gives him like a thumbs up after he kicks their asses and steals the car.
The other thing you gotta understand about this Green Ninja, he's 3 feet tall. If you haven't recently watched Ninja 3: The Domination like we have, you may not get the humility in that.
All right, so I know we bounced all over the place about this series here, but overall, I do think it's a great series. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend watching it. You may want to watch the second, probably both Suicide Squads, because you'll probably want to watch the first Suicide Squad so you can understand what's happening in the second Suicide Squad a little bit with some of the characters. But ultimately, to watch Peacemaker, you don't need to watch the second Suicide Squad, but it probably helps so that way you can see John Cena's character throughout the whole platform, the whole arc of his character. But his character, for me, is most enjoyable in the TV series. And overall, even though I'm not a big fan of his as far as most of his acting career, but this series and Vacation Friends, I think he does a darn good job. I think it's a total home run for him, and I do recommend the series.
It is very interesting. And another thing I want to point out about that, and you mentioned James Gunn and his role in this, is James Gunn actually has a very big role right now in the DC universe. And with that, you also mentioned Black Adam. And as the DC universe is trying to plan out the next 10 years, as Marvel did decades before DC started to get their act together, which is why Marvel kind of won the whole battle initially. Now you've got Black Adam, you've got the Peacemaker, you've got these new characters, and one of the things you can't deny is we see trends, we see cycles, whether it's global warming, which has happened before when we didn't apparently have cars and automobiles on this planet creating toxic gases. But it's happened before. And the same thing has come with what is, and I'm going to use the word sexy now. And with that, we go through, okay, so we want the slim little vampire from Breaking Dawn to, oh no, I want the big bulky man, Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I think we're getting close to the next period where going away from the slim little crackhead to the bulky steroid user is becoming sexy again. And you've got the Peacemaker, Black Adam. I think DC's got some other things in the works, and James Gunn is a big piece of that. It will be very interesting. As I mentioned at the beginning of the show, was not super excited to see this series, and afterwards I'm like, man, that was easily a 9 out of 10, if not higher. This was a win. I greatly enjoyed it, and I will rewatch the whole series because I just think there's realities. As you get a little bit wiser, it doesn't have to be older. As you get a little bit wiser, you realize, hey, we all have quirks. We all do funky things. Sometimes we start fires in the kitchen or on the grill out back or whatever it may be. But we blow shit up. And they do that a lot in the movies. And our version may not be as exciting as the Peacemakers, but we all get a chance to live in that moment and be like, man, I really messed up, but we won at the end. Dinner was great. Whatever that may be, just do that. Like, really take the time and live in the moment. And at the end of the day, remember, you're still there. You're still fighting. You're still kicking. May not have been the easiest day, but you won.
Also, I think a good point here to like that was a great finish, but surround yourself with good people though too, because at the end he does have a good team.
He does, and what is beautiful about that is from the outside, everyone would misjudge them. No one would pick any of those fools to be on their team based on what you knew at the beginning, and maybe at the end. But that means you have to put a ton of prejudices aside.
All right. What is our next Scotch and our next topic?
All right. So we are, next
episode 100.
Episode is 100. So I figured we got to go a little big, not a lot of big, but a little big. And it's a 2-part topic.
Uh-oh.
The first one,
I might have to write this down.
I've got it written down so you can just read the bottom of my notes here. The first part of the topic is to decant or not decant? That is the question. We're using Shakespeare's line to figure out what liquors should you decant or not decant. Is it wise to decant a Scotch, or is it wise to decant a wine, or what should you or should you not decant? So we'll do our own
beer. You do not decant beer.
Yeah, right. Wine, you probably do decant wine, but that's only if it's a good wine, or else you might not want the flavor to come out. So that's part A. That's the quick little piece. This is episode 100 again. So the smarter challenge is, and I think it's 8 30-minute episodes, so about 4 hours. It's a TV series called The Queen's Gambit.
Oh, the chess game. The chess.
Yes,
okay.
the lady from the movie, The Menu.
Okay, yeah. So it was funny you mentioned that because I had just started. I watched like half the first episode like last week.
Perfect, because I think later episodes down maybe we'll even do on the next one, play a game of chess while we're talking on the podcast. But for the Scotch, we are going to do last year's version.
Oh, no.
The special release from 2021, the Lagavulin 12-year-old, the Leo, the Lion.
The first big Scotch of this new year, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong with that.
No, I mean, this is a great one. Yeah, this is great. I mean, we've had a pretty good roll basically going from Thanksgiving till now, but I think this is the first big hitter here out of for this year. Price wise, I think. Could be wrong. I don't remember what these were when they're going.
I don't know why they're so much more expensive, but they are. It's special release.
That's why. It's all in the name.
It really is, but it's look at that. If you can't see that, that is a kick-ass canister.
That is a kick-ass canister. It'd almost be like a cool line if you're a Leo to get that tattooed on you.
That's what I'm talking about.
With that flaming mane.
Yeah, and this one they literally label as their fiercest and smokiest Scotch. That could be bad too.
It could be good.
We're gonna find out.
I think it'd be great.
Probably more than 50 parts per million.
So it's another Isla, right?
Yes.
Like Moon's Isla, right? Okay.
And not only is it another Isla, but we're gonna jump from 46% ABV to 56.5.
All right,
10.5%.
Sweet.
I'm guessing that's about as close to cask strength as you get without just being cask strength.
All right. So for everyone who watches us on YouTube and Rumble, thank you once again for watching us on those platforms. Thank you to the people who do leave those comments as well. For those of you who listen to us on any one of our audio platforms for podcasts, thank you for listening to us. We greatly appreciate all of your support. Please make sure you leave us some comments or suggestions in the comment area. And please like, and share, and subscribe. with that, I'll pass it along to you, Jesse. To close us out.
And Noah pointed out that we did have someone leave a message asking about a pointing scale on the Scotch. And I think that that's a great idea. So next week, we're going to roll one out.
Uh-oh. We got to come up with a point scale.
Dude, I've already got it. It was simple. It's not overcomplicating it. But what you have to do is let us know if you like it afterwards, because it's going to be pretty drastic. We're going to go after our big hitters here: color, nose, palate, finish, and we'll weigh their values differently, but ultimately it's a 100-point scale. And if we hate one piece of it, that can drop the score 20 to 25 points.
Ooh, now we're getting really serious into our stuff here. Huh?
It's going to get interesting. All of a sudden, we're going to have like 93 rated Dalmores that were like, it was an 80.
All right.
So please remember, drink responsibly. Life is great. It's a new year. It's not always easy. Make sure you take some time, talk with friends, enjoy a little bit of life, relax, watch some silly TV shows like The Peacemaker that I watched it with Noah, and you can ask him. He was there the whole time. I'm like, what the am I watching? And at the end, I'm like, I am so glad I watched that. So sometimes those things are necessary. If you're watching season 12 or whatever it is of some show that is based out of Canada and a bunch of people living in a trailer park, maybe you shouldn't be watching that. I don't know. But Peacemaker season 1 was worth it. So with that, please continue to give feedback. We will and do appreciate it. And other than that,
Scotchman!
Cheers.
We hope you enjoyed this evening's episode of Scotch Hour. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you have not done so already, please become a patron member, with memberships starting as low as $1 a month. Thank you, and hopefully you have a wonderful evening.